Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. I thought of not maybe filming it, but I just had to share some of the decks that I received recently from my friend Victoria. Yes, she's done it again. I don't know how I deserve this, and you know, I feel really blessed. I have loads of amazing people in my life who really support what I do. They appreciate what I do, and then they share they goodies with me, so you know, I can't complain. I love it, but also sometimes taking is uncomfortable and it makes you feel a little bit, you know, like, oh, uncomfortable. That's just it. But Victoria is one of those people who teaches me how to take without that feeling of yeah, like this sense of I don't deserve it, you know, or asking like, why is she sending this to me? Like, how did I deserve it? What did I do? So yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know, she just teaches me a lot of acceptance and ability to receive. And I really believe that if you know how to receive, you're really good at giving as well. It just goes hand in hand. So I'm learning, and as usual, you know me, you've seen me receiving decks and gifts in general. You know, I'm excited. What can I do? So, this is my favorite deck of the pack. So, she has sent me the Rumi Oracle. She has sent me the Cult of Wisdom Tarot, which is the Slavic deck. She sent me the Lily Black Tarot and this little cute Lenormand Oracle 1889. She sent me a few other bits and pieces, but this cool Hierophant card with the glitter, I think this is definitely on my just really small wish list. I would like a glitter deck by Carol Herzer, you know. I just can't afford it, it's really expensive, but yeah, I'd love to get one of those. The glitter doesn't show up very well on the camera, but yeah, it's there and it's really cool. So maybe one day, you never know. So the Efflorescent Tarot. I want to speak about this deck because this is my favorite deck of the pack, and it's just, I was surprised first of all because this is the new edition. I think this is maybe second edition, or well, it says here the deck is printed in a small family press in Minnesota and assembled with much care in Peony's kitchen. For more information about this deck, visit peonyarcher.com. You can get this deck on Etsy. I will link it below in the description box. And Victoria knew that this deck was on my wish list, so you know, she said she was getting one for herself and that she will get me one. And I remember unboxings about this deck, and I remember that the cards people were saying were huge. So, you know, these cards are quite big, but they're not huge. This is the regular tarot card, and this is the new size of the Efflorescent Tarot. So they're more like an oracle deck, but they're not huge. But I think what changed definitely is the flexibility of the card. That reminds me a little bit of Carol Herzer's decks, but these are not as thin, the card. The paper is actually quite nice. It's bendy, it shuffles great, but it's very laminated. So if you're one of these people who are annoyed with too much lamination, you know, when you have this plasticky feel, yeah, you probably won't like this deck. But let me show you, it actually shuffles great. It's quite thick also, so the quality of this card is good. So when you want to shuffle it, it shuffles great. It's bendy, it's softer. You can shuffle it this way as well. And but yes, I have to mention that it's very laminated. I personally don't mind, just because I like riffle shuffle, and I was surprised how well it does shuffle. So one more time. Yeah, so it's cool, you know. And I remember watching a few reviews of this deck before, like even maybe a year ago or something, and people were complaining that this deck is darker, that you can't really see maybe the colors so much, and I think that's why they did lamination, because the color pops up a lot and it actually is really beautiful. And it's one of those decks when most of the people are quite sad or stern looking, but it's just so beautiful. I don't know, I was using it in client readings yesterday. I've been using it every day since I received it. I wanted this deck for a reason, and I think it was just that, yeah, there is just this sense of, I don't have a deck that is sad, and this deck feels sad, but sometimes it's also good to have a sad deck. You can connect with sadness of the deck, and your own sadness comes like exposed. But at the same time, maybe sometimes I see it not even as sad, but like thoughtful, you know, and not this kind of very nice and always smiling. So yeah, it's just something about this deck, you know. I really enjoy it, and I think this lamination gave it a pop, and I'm pretty sure that she maybe brightened the images a little bit, but I really love it. I really do. So Victoria, if you watch it, thank you so much for this deck. It's definitely going to be a loved deck here. It's really beautiful, and there's just something soulful and quiet about it, and maybe just this, I don't know, this judgment. Obviously not for everyone, as usual. Hierophant. It's cute, but I do love it. So I'm just going to run through these cards for you so that you can take a look. If you don't want to see all the cards, you know, just skip to the next deck. And these are the backs, this kind of like symmetrical mirror image. And the star. I love this deck, and it's obviously Rider-Waite-Smith based, as you can see. So if you know Rider-Waite-Smith system, you will have no issues whatsoever with reading with this deck. So I'm curious, if you have the old version, let me know if you think that these are brighter. I love this death card, it's so strange, check it out. Right? It's like this kind of, yeah, this dark cloud, the dark energy coming through, and this person like so, like, you know, what can I do? I just, you know, wait for you. Angel for Temperance. I don't know, recently this angelic being on Temperance makes me think a lot. And I love the pinks, obviously, and the turquoises, and, you know, the azure, blue, and the yellow. So beautiful colors, and I'm glad that they pop up. The colors remind me sometimes a little bit of Aquarian tarot. Six of Cups, so beautiful. Yeah, so Efflorescent tarot, very, very nice. But mind if you don't like lamination, even though I think in this deck it really works because it just looks so nice when it comes to the color. So this is Lily Black, and by Celia Melesoir. You know, it's French, I don't know. Oh, it's even signed, that's cute. I didn't notice before. And so there were two versions of this deck. There was Lily White and Lily Black. And I remember seeing them, and I thought first time I actually felt drawn more to the black version, because usually I prefer the light. Somehow I don't like the black, you know, like black borders, and I mean, it depends on the deck. But this one is beautifully etched in black as well. I think it was etched and it wasn't Victoria, but I'm not too sure really. And here are the cards. So this one is the, as I said, black version. It's got this cute kind of you know, how she marks the cups, the suits, and the numbers, and these are the Roman numerals is the major arcana. So I'm just going to show you, maybe these are the backs also, this kind of gold foiled, and there's the king of air, so we've got air element, and the swords, chariot. So it's quite different. It's also based on Rider-Waite-Smith. This is the king of wands, and you've got all this fire and smoke going up to its hair and the elemental sign. It's quite cool actually. So it's a very interesting deck. I'm personally like have to play with it a little bit more. It feels good in the hands. It also shuffles well. And this one is the regular tarot size, and it really gives, you know, maybe it's not as bendy as Efflorescent tarot, but it's smaller. It shuffles really well. And also the cards look quite cool together, you know, when you pull them out. I like it. And look at this moon. So you've got this reflection, and here there's like a face with a dog, and then there is the face with the wolf howling. And the moon phases. I like this moon a lot. This Eight of Wands is pretty cool too. So all the faces, all the kings and queens are, you know, like with connected to the elements. So what was that? I think that's a queen, sorry, that was the Queen of Wands, and this is the King of Wands. Yeah, and this Queen of Cups or King of Cups. See, I have to figure that out myself, but it's interesting. So what she did, it's quite lovely, and the pages are the little hearts. So it looks like the, you know, she made it on black background with like pastel crayons. And maybe for some it can be a little bit busy, I don't know. You have to check the white version as well, maybe it's a little bit easier to read. So this is the devil. I'm not a fan of this devil. I spoke to, tarot by Anya. Anya just commented as well that she's not fan of the devil. I'm over, I think, the devil being depicted as a male. It's, yeah, I don't know. Especially in this context of male and female, and this, yeah, not my favorite. But here we have, you know, there's always this one card. I love the lovers. It's beautiful. Always the one card or two or three, you know, that you don't like in the deck, or you prefer they depicted it differently, and so on. So yeah, you get a sense of how it looks. The court cards are quite beautiful, maybe not easy to read, but they evocative, I think. Eight of Cups, pretty nice. The Judgment is the butterfly. This Eight of Pentacles with a V. So it's lovely, you know, it's a beautiful deck. So I probably wouldn't have purchased it myself. I'm really glad, you know, I do have this wonderful people around who support me like this, and that I can also show off the artwork of the artists who create these decks, because I know, guys, that you like these videos, you know, I can see that these videos, you like to watch them, they get a lot of views. So this was the Lily Black, and when it comes to production and feel of the cards, it feels really good. So it's quite a soft deck, even though it's dark. It feels like very nice in the hands, and it feels like a good reader too, but I have to kind of play with it a little bit more to really know if this is something that I'm going to be using, you know, or it's just, oh yeah, it's a nice deck and that's it. So the next deck is this Cult of Wisdom Tarot. So this is a Slavic deck. It's by tarotcostudio.com. You can still get these decks. The box is very weh, you know, just barely holds the cards, but actually, and you get the PDF with this deck. So this is only like a little pamphlet, but I wrote the creators and they send a PDF, you know. So that's cool because you can read a little bit more about Slavic pantheon, which is interesting for me. So this deck by itself, it's not my favorite art style. If you watch my channel, you probably would know that I don't like too much of this realistic photo-like kind of artwork, but I like the bags. That's definitely beautiful, and also the paper is really cool. So this one is also very flexible, but it's not as laminated, you know, like the Efflorescent tarot. It's actually very flexible. It shuffles really cool. Maybe, you know, for this type of shuffling it's a bit too flexible because the cards kind of keep bending, but for riffle shuffling it's amazing. And yeah, you can shuffle any way you want this deck. You have to have quite a long fingers, you know, quite long deck, quite long or bigger hands to get it to shuffle this way, because they're quite long, these cards. So if this Lily Black is a regular tarot, that's just this much longer and a little bit wider, so they're quite large cards. And in the book, what is a little bit kind of maybe not annoying, but the book is in Russian, you know, but then I would prefer if there was a Russian text and then English text. But what they did Russian, a little bit of Russian text, a little bit of English text, a little bit of Russian text, a little bit of English text. So it's not the easiest to read, and I haven't read it yet, to be honest. So some of these cards are pretty, and some of them are like whatever, in my opinion, you know, but only because this is not my style. And you get all this Slavic pantheon, like gods and like legendary, you know, people, and you can learn about it from the PDF booklet. So I like this one. This one is pretty cool. Kostroma and Chernobog. So it's a black god, the tower. So, you know, you get all the kind of the snake, and so, you know, you can be kind of excited about seeing this type of artwork as well. I can imagine that people would like it. Południsta, but in Polish we say południca. Ziva, well, we say Ziva, this is Ziva, I think. Mermaid. Lelia, white birch. So there is something very moving for me when I see this deck, just because, yeah, it is my culture, and I don't know too much about this my culture, to be honest, just because when it's Slavic, I think Christianity taking over, the Slavic paganism really wiped out most of the information that is kind of reliable and believable. So now we're kind of creating quite, you know, from legends, from myths, from old stories, from our grandmothers. We're kind of making up as we go. And yes, we had very similar pantheon to the Russians and, you know, other Slavic people, like in the Ukraine and Czech Republic and Slovakia and all around us. So it's kind of cool to see this being depicted, you know, and see the Veles, God Veles, who's definitely wrote for the world. And yeah, so it's interesting. So I'm just going to show you the cards. And if you also have Slavic heritage, Leshi, even if you don't, you know, particularly maybe like the artwork, you might feel drawn to just to the, you know, the theme and to the subject matter. And you might want to get this deck because of that, like myself, you know. And again, I'm glad Victoria sent it to me, but Perun, god of lightning. Sviatobor, Radomysl, she reminds me of the Lord of the Ring. Dziewanna, we say in Polish, here's Devana. Kruchina, Kikimora, Zoria, we say Zorza. Mistress. Morok for devil, we say Mrok. Swarozyc. Spinners of Fate, that's very similar to the Nordic Lada. It's very kind of Mother Mary. White Baba, I just like this, it was quite funny. Pravda, which is truth. Morana for death. Yeah, I like this Makosh. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. This is just not my favorite. But this is pretty cool. That's quite scary. That's a little bit like Lilith, but Syrian here. Samovila in the Dark Goddess deck, she is the strength. Lel for the Fool. Ace of Fire is cool. Kopala. Krivda, that's krzywda in Polish. Like do harm. Vesta. Dogoda. Tara. Perunista. And Dolia, which is faith. Dola. So this is the Cult of Wisdom deck, and yeah, you guys make your own opinion about it, but I'm happy to be able to show it to you and let you know that something like this exists, because we don't have too many Slavic decks. There's one which I had before and I shown it on my channel. It's called Russian Tarot, but that's it. And then this is this cute Lenormand Oracle for Oracle lovers. I love the back, the box, it's so beautiful, really well done, good quality. And the paper is also very beautiful. It's like this linen finish, and it's gilded with this gold, old gold. And this is the, and you know, the cards are little, which is cute, very easy to shuffle. It's nice paper. So for Lenormand lovers, this is the Lenormand deck. It's good. It's really easy to read. I think it's beautiful. All the symbols are pretty well depicted, easy to recognize. Very, you know, traditional. You have the cards, you have all that you need. So it's very cool. When you put them together, because they're small, they look quite good. So I haven't used Lenormand for a while. I had a, you know, my moment of love, like falling in love with Lenormand, and I was just learning a lot about it. But then I, you know, I just couldn't betray tarot, really. It's enough. I'm kind of mixing tarot and oracles. And then I got this Rumi oracle. So I think you all, or most of you will know this deck. My friend has chopped off the borders. Maybe she got it chopped off, I don't know, but I'm hoping it was her who trimmed it. And it's a just beautiful deck. And not only because it's, you know, connected to Rumi, but it's also connected to Mary, it's connected to spirituality, to poetry. So I'm enjoying it. And without the borders, it actually looks really good. And it's by Alana Fairchild, and the book is quite actually interesting. Maybe not my favorite book, but I love that the poetry is there, and when you use the cards, the book does make sense, and I like reading it. Also very laminated, as you can see, but beautiful colors, you know, kind of very cosmic and spiritual in the sense of like this energetic. So yeah, if there's something you were thinking of, I actually recommend this oracle. It's really cool. So yes, that's it, my friends. This is my Christmas in March. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to ask me any questions about these decks, then go ahead and put your comments in. And I'm curious which one you like the most. Bye!